Friends, have you heard about the drama that is happening in the Pilates and fitness world? All of the things. Is it racist? Is it not racist? What happened to body inclusivity? What happened to, it being the place where you can get your strength? Is it just for rich women? Listen, there's so much going on in the world that I had to tap in to one of my really good friends who has over 1 million followers, right? She is an OG and a pioneer in the fitness space to find out what can we do. She needs to tell me more about all of it. And y'all, today, I get to introduce you to someone who is not only an incredible professional, but also someone who I've been fortunate to know and work with for years. Jessica Valant is a nationally recognized Pilates instructor. She's a physical therapist. She's a health coach and an entrepreneur. You know, I do not play. I like qualified people here only. And she's also, though, like us, a mom, a wife, and a woman who's made it her mission to help others find strength, freedom, and confidence in their bodies. Now, she's got programs, she's got community. If you've ever done a workout, you've probably followed her. You've probably done one of her workouts and didn't even know. And her leadership in the health and wellness space is undeniable. She's empowered hundreds of thousands of women to approach fitness not as punishment, but as a tool for healing, for balance, and for joy. And she's built a platform, a major platform. I'm not kidding. 1 million followers just on YouTube, but she's all over the internet. And it cuts through the noise because everything is practical. Everything's sustainable. Everything's keeping it real about the struggles that our bodies are going to face when it comes to health and motherhood and business. And what I admire the most about Jessica and that you're going to come to love is that she leads with compassion. Y'all, she sees all of us. And she understands that life is messy, bodies are unique, and that showing up for yourself doesn't have to look perfect in order to be powerful. You're going to love her. You're going to love her heart, her wisdom, her honesty. Y'all, help me welcome my friend, Jessica Valant. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, that was so lovely. Thank you for having me.
No, it is my joy because I am not tapped into this Pilates world and there is drama.
Yeah. And there's been drama for a long time.
I didn't even know. We're about to get into it because I need to know. So before all of that, I, always kick off with this question. And I want to know if there was one truth, one thing that you could zap into everyone's brain right now that they would believe that you think would make their life so much easier based on your lived experience in fitness, in physical therapy, because, you're a professional, what would that be?
Your body is not bad and your body is not broken. There is nothing wrong with your body, and the world tells us that there is. Now, there might be things you want to fix, you want to change. I've been through the health things, I've been through the diagnoses, but your body is not broken and your body is not bad. It is your partner throughout your life.
Ooh, so that I think, I don't know why, but I felt that, and I'm sure people heard it and it's just like, wait a minute, what makes this such a powerful statement for you? Like, is this something that you think people believe or that you've come across with their clients? Like, where'd this come from?
So I started my period when I was 8 years old and I went to the hospital immediately. They did not know at that time. So I was born in 1977, so I am a Gen X baby. They did not know what to do with me. So they said, test in the hospital. I came out of the hospital feeling like I was broken, like I was a burden to people, and I was never told why. And no one ever sat down and said, you're normal, it's going to be okay. And so I didn't even realize how much that sat in me. And then I became a physical therapist. I wanted to work with women. I felt so much of a heart for women. And it really was even just a few years ago that it hit me. I am trying to heal that girl. I am trying to speak to everyone out there who ever had a message, purposefully or not, right? We all grew up. If you are a woman in the world, you grew up with some kind of message. You're broken. Your body is bad.
You're not enough.
Exactly. You're not enough. You're too big. You take up too much space. You don't look the right way. You don't fit the right way. And so I don't want anyone else to go through that, or I want to at least help peel back the layers of that message.
So you actually get to see in your work a lot of the outcome of those. How do you think, as a mom of a 14-year-old, and you're a mom too, how old are your littles?
12. So I have a 12-year-old girl and then an 8-year-old boy.
So you get it, right? And I think a lot of times people think it's just women, but boys are involved with and perpetuate, these messaging and all of that. So I guess when you see the outcome of this, what is it that you're seeing happen? Are your clients coming to you and they are saying like, I need to change my body because I am blank? Or
Right.
what does it look like?
So what's so interesting is I see it in physical therapy. That's when it really hit me.
Really? So,
people,
can you tell us more about
Yep.
what physical therapy is so people can
Yes.
understand the context of it?
Yep. So probably most people listening have been through rehab of some kind, but you have an injury, you have a surgery, and you need someone to help you get your function back. And that's what we're there for. So I would see people after total knee replacements or with back pain, and I would give them a list of exercises to do. I mean, here are clear instructions, right? Like you just follow these steps. And people would come back still with pain. I mean, we went through this cycle. And I really started to see we are missing in healthcare. We're doing people a disservice because we're missing this important piece of people feeling safe in their bodies. So what happens when you have a trauma or you have social media telling you that something's wrong, or if you have chronic pain, you don't feel safe in your body. You don't trust the feedback your body's giving you. You don't think it's good. You don't feel safe in it, or you have a bitterness towards it. And when that happens, you really aren't going to follow the steps people are telling you to follow. And then what happens is you're called lazy, right? Or you're not motivated enough, or everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. Well, not really, right? We can talk about that.
That's
not
a whole
really.
thing,
People
right?
do not. But also you end up in this cycle of shame because you didn't do the steps. You don't quite know why. You don't feel better. You're told you're lazy, and it continues. And I realize we're missing this entire middle step of just convincing people, hey, we need to back up a step and let you feel safe in your body. You need to develop this embodiment again. And that's the only way then we can move forward.
It's so interesting because, you know, we're with our bodies all the time.
Right.
The idea that we would live in a society that convinces us to not trust the very vessel that we have to care for, that we are with all the time, I mean, is loaded. And so I'm going to ask you, I guess, the loaded question. Why do you think that is?
I think there are many pieces to it, and it really can be the person's individual story. I mean, if there is trauma in their past, that is it. If your body's ever been used for something that feels bad to you, again, chronic pain, those kind of things, but you can go back so much farther. And people like Dr. Hillary McBride do really great work on embodiment, but that idea of why do we feel separate from our bodies? And I think it can even go back to, there's a really great argument through religious teachings, right, of body, mind, spirit, but being taught that they're separate things. Somewhere along the line, we were taught that our spirit and our mind are separate from our body and that our body is bad, as opposed to
the body sins.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. As opposed to we are all one piece. I mean, when we came into the world, I just met your daughter for the first time. Your beautiful, amazing
she's here
daughter.
on a work day. Bring your baby to work day.
And she immediately cried.
Yes, she
Great,
did.
as she should. Stranger
we were
danger.
way too excited. We walked up to her like, wow! She was like, oh
but
no.
At her age, like what did she do? Immediate crying,
Yep.
reaching for you, reaching for Alex. She's putting things in her mouth. We explore the world through our bodies. That's all we know. That's how we get to know the world. And somewhere along the line, we are told your body is bad. And so we lose our actual true physical connection to the world around us.
So I want to know, because conspiracy theorists will say, you know, why is that? Is that because it's profitable? Is it because, you know, the patriarchy? Is it because, you know, it just isn't to our advantage to trust our body? Or, you know, some people will say, especially from a religious standpoint, we shouldn't, you know, that the body is inclined to sin. The body is inclined to lie to us. Like, you know, what do you think having, again, I want all of you to hear this, especially if this is resonating with some of you where you're saying to yourself, you know, how do I feel in my own body? Do I listen? Like, because, you know, I downplay. If I get injured, even I'll say, oh, it's not that bad. Why can't it? It's allowed to be that bad. You know what I mean? So, so I know I have this narrative, you know, as someone who has a stronger love of their body. So I want to know who is benefiting from the lie we're telling ourselves that we cannot trust our bodies.
Yeah. I mean, capitalism, right? Like there is money to be made. And you can look across the spectrum of toxic positivity, right? So we'll say that's one message. Just love your body. And that's a great message. But that is a big ask.
Like an oversimplification.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, or the whole self-care. All you need is a bubble bath and to love yourself.
And some candles, girl.
Right.
Candles.
That will not combat trauma, right? That's not going to combat your socioeconomic status. That's not going to combat white supremacy. Like it's a deeper message. So that's one piece, is that idea of, oh, I just need to love myself more. When I just am going to right now say it, that's a really big ask. Like, I just want you to partner with your body first. And then maybe then we can move to liking your body. So that's one message out there, that toxic positivity piece. Then absolute capitalism. I mean, look at social media now. Probably everyone listening gets the messages and the ads for every supplement available.
Yep.
I mean, should I buy a weighted vest? Should I not?
Yes.
Should I have the creatine? And should I have this protein powder or that protein powder?
And how much of it? And when do I need it?
Absolutely.
And then there's tweaks. It's like, this is a protein powder for pre-partum. Then there's one for postpartum.
Yes.
Then there's one for over 40. And I'm
Right.
like, what is happening right now?
And the 10-day bikini body programs. And to be honest, a lot of those are beneficial. I mean, I take creatine. I swear by it as a 47-year-old woman. But it is really hard when you're getting thrown those messages over and over and over again. And then people realize they can make money from it. And again, not everyone out there is a grifter doing it in a bad way. But when we get so many messages and we don't know where to turn to and we don't know who to trust, it becomes really hard to know what the next step is. And I do think one of the problems with fitness is it's just been capitalized, right? Like, that ultimately is probably where we've lost the plot a little bit, and insurance companies included. I mean, it is about money, and if you have access, and if you look a certain way.
Ooh, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I told y'all you would love her. I told y'all you would love her. She likes mess like I like mess. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you said if you look a certain way, if you have money, all of those things being factors, you already, I'm sure, have heard there was a viral video that went around, you know, of a woman who, I actually don't know if she was white, you know what I mean? But, you know, she was white presenting. That's the word. She was white presenting. And she mentioned that, you know, like Pilates isn't for certain people. She actually said, I think, the quiet part out loud, right? Which, you know, that some people may already believe, which is that Pilates is for wealthy people who have certain body shapes already and who, you know, ascribe to a certain racial or social economic class. So I want to, as someone who has been, just tell us a little bit about, like, first your Pilates background, because you have had studios. You are, you are an OG before it was like even cool and popularized. So tell us about your background, because you've seen it. So is this true as a Black woman who is trying to, you know, get her muscle mass up, right? Because as she's, you know, aging, I would love to do Pilates. Is Pilates for me?
Yes. And that is absolutely, so that clip, yes.
It was crazy. Everybody was talking about it.
Yes, they were. And Pilates does have that reputation, because it is true. If you look, and there are many fitness modalities that are this way. I'm speaking to Pilates because I've been in the industry a long time. But
how
I will
long?
say
Just for the
25 years.
Okay, just want y'all to hear that. Okay,
yes.
so this is like not, she's not just speaking to it cool now. It's like, no, like, you know, way before this girl was born. Okay, you were talking about Pilates.
So 25 years, and I've been on the board for our industry group, because I truly believe in wanting in the industry and wanting to make it better. And so that's a common story across fitness, right? Is, do I look a certain way? Do I have access? How am I going to feel when I walk in? What if I'm a beginner? What if I can't do that move? And so a lot of it depends on many different factors. But speaking to Pilates, because that's what I've done, especially with the equipment, yes, there's a cost. There's a cost barrier right off the bat.
The clothes alone, girl, the outfits are like $200 just if you want the top and the bottom. Okay, it's not inexpensive.
And I think somewhere along the line, so without going into the full history of Pilates, it's a fairly new industry. When kind of many different instructors started coming and it boomed. I mean, if you guys have been around in the early 2000s, Madonna did Pilates. Suddenly everyone wanted to do Pilates. So studios popped up everywhere, but they knew they could charge. So again, we go back to, I can make money on this, but who can afford? And honestly, the people who could afford it were the white women who had access to it. And that's not the right thing. And also
location of studios.
Absolutely.
They
which
were
again is
not
access.
opening them up in the middle of Compton. You know, they weren't opening up in Inglewood. I say that as an LA native, because LA is a very segregated city, you know, so they were not accessible, you know, to people who wanted to even explore it.
And as a PT, I'll say the same for healthcare. I mean, we have major access problems that are only getting worse right now in our country, in rural areas, and Medicaid and socioeconomic status. I mean, we have major problems, and fitness just falls right into that. When you look at it, though, and the people doing really, really, really good work in the space, I mean, we're talking on the mat. I see them using equipment in people's homes, working with neurodivergent, working with bigger bodies, working in the Black community. I mean, it is amazing what can be done, but it has to be done, right? Like the steps have to be, it has to be intentional.
Right.
And that
Is
to
that
me
a
is
Pilates
where
problem? Where
it's a
there
fitness
needs to
problem.
be a fitness problem.
I think it personally, I think it's a fitness problem. And I think Pilates has its own pieces to that for sure. And also, anytime someone realizes they can monetize fitness, it's going to become a problem. That whole fitness and wellness industry, right? And social media, and people can come in who don't have certifications, you don't know who to trust, and that it like ends up in this big amalgam of
mess.
Yes, mess.
So what you're telling me is that once money, like anything else, comes into play in the world of fitness, inclusivity, and honestly, sometimes health goals actually go out the window.
Yep. I think it can. And again, I am all about
because
making the money, right?
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, make your money, do what you need to do if you are helping people the right way. But like anything else, I think when people see that they can be monetized,
they're going to go where the coins are.
That's
right.
where they're going to go. Absolutely.
So, I mean, you are known for throwing events, and really trying to reach out to the greater community to spread the fitness message. And I always have admired that about you. But I have to say, I don't see that very often, and recently in my neighborhood, here in Los Angeles, there's actually a banner that was put up at the local Pilates, one of the local Pilates studios, that said Pilates is for everybody.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that because, it's almost like a sign saying like, take my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're welcome here.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you think need to happen, for this to be more accessible? Because I mean, obviously you're telling me this isn't true, right? Anyone can do Pilates.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Of
And I
any
don't even know if I
size.
came back and answered that question. Absolutely. And we do in fitness and wellness as a whole, we have a sizeism issue. We have a racism issue. We have an ageism issue. We have abilityism issue. I mean, all of those things that we need to continually work on. For me, a really interesting, someone who I was working with through Momentum Fest, so through the retreats that I was putting on and the events, I wanted to create a safe space for everyone. And so I brought in a DEI consultant. We were working closely together. And I realized I had been creating a safe space for me. I had been creating a safe space for what I envisioned a safe space would look like, without taking into account we all have different visions of what a safe space is. And it was me reaching out to my Black friends who are instructors saying, I missed the plot here. Like I missed this piece. So I think just conversations need to happen where we open up and say, you know what, if I don't go out and ask, if I don't go out and really find out, like, what are you feeling with this? Your body is different than mine. Your lived experience is different than mine. The time of day you have to exercise is different. So I need you to tell me what that is, because I have a lot of learning to do. And I think that needs to happen first. I'm still not doing it right. I can grow every day, but that helped so much just to realize, oh, I need to make a safe space for you. What does that look like?
Almost
Tell me
coming
more.
outside of yourself and saying like, what do you need?
Yes.
So that, because I'm happy to do the Pilates for you, but how would you like to see it performed?
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
Yep.
I guess kind of calling all of our feet, to the fire, as someone who has a platform, and you have a platform, your platform is massive, what responsibility do you think we have? Because something has changed. And I guess that's my big question around that is, at some point in time, I believe that most fitness modalities, go from being this exciting thing that everyone, is looking for a way to access, or an exciting thing that, whether it's through videos or whatever else, is for everybody, and then there's a trend and it goes a different direction.
Right.
You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like curvy bodies were really, really in about 5 years ago or so. And I personally think curvy bodies are always in. I think everybody's always in, right? Like there is always a way to feel great in the body that you have, no matter what. You shouldn't hate yourself on your journey. But I also feel like, using celebrities to popularize things, we kind of had a Kardashian effect where there was a crossover where a whitewashing occurred over the standard Black body that thrust it into the mainstream and made it far more popular to be curvy and have, a big ass and, boobs and like all of these things, the figure 8 shape. I guess my question comes where it feels like we're going the other way again, where it's kind of like these things are sort of, we got to get back to the heroin chic of the 90s that I grew up in, which was super harmful because I didn't even know that was never accessible for me. Like my body is never going to be that. So to grow up in a space where, low rise jeans, which should never come back. I don't know if that can go to anyone who we have to email, who do we have to contact?
Can we send a message, please?
Send a message, please. And for the people who look great in low rise jeans, I'm sorry. Okay. You also look good in high waist jeans. So everyone does not want low rise jeans. Okay. Like send that out, tell management. But, that said, growing up that way, it was traumatic for me because I was like, I can never do this, So I want to know what is changing right now? Because plus size body include, it was huge. Everything was going, I felt like we were going the right direction. What is happening?
I don't know.
Right.
Only because sometimes trends, like you said,
trends
I just don't even,
too. That's just fashion, right?
And it doesn't even make sense.
But even in fitness, I feel like when I see on social, what is aspirational, and maybe it's just my algorithm, but aspirational doesn't necessarily look like me.
Right. And I feel like we're being pulled in both directions because in some ways the discussion around women's health, perimenopause, menopause, I mean,
skyrocketing in the best way.
Yes, in the best way. I mean, we are having discussions we should have had years and years and years ago. Awesome. At the exact same time, we are cutting funding for women's health research.
Cancer research, everything.
Yes. So both directions are happening at the same time. And again, okay, the discussions are happening. But if we're trending, if we're all about trends in regular health and fitness, it's going to go there too, right? So even in that place, it's these discussions of, oh, well, you're on HRT? Well, then you shouldn't be. Oh, well, I should be. Well, right? Like everything people want to come in. And I think that's going to happen. We should have those discussions. And sometimes I just go back to the fact that social media isn't always real. People, it feels like they make really fast trigger opinions, right? And they'll call out that opinion and then they get mad at whoever discusses something differently with them versus I think back, I owned my own studios for about 10 years before social media was a thing. I mean, we had Yelp. That's all we had was Yelp.
For sure.
And I was just in that space with real people, real women in front of me who all look different from each other, who look different from me. And I was called out when I did something or said something that wasn't right. And I learned from it. And it was a one-on-one discussion with that single individual. And I could apply it to the next person. We created a community. And I really think that's the piece that we continue to miss. So whereas social media is great, it also allows people to say whatever they want from the safety of a screen, and people will stir the pot. And then the algorithm loves the stirred pot.
Oh, yes, it'll feed it.
And they will feed it and continue to do it. So whereas if you took a lot of those same people and you put us in a room and we just had a coffee
that's not even
together,
the energy.
Right, exactly. And I don't know how to change it or fix it. And that's fairly simplistic, but I just think it's good for everyone to be aware of that. Like really think about how would I feel about that if it was presented to me one-on-one as a human? How would I feel about that if I was in a room of women that I really trusted? How would I feel about that if I was in a room of women who didn't look like me, right? Like how would I speak to that person?
Right.
Like really
That's
ask
good.
yourself that.
That's good. Yeah, with the trending video that occurred with that young lady, I mean, she ended up, coming back and issuing an apology-ish, but she got chewed up. I mean, she was dragged up and down her mat. Okay, it was not good. But I also know that she, and this is not me defending her whatsoever, but she didn't come to that by herself. There was obviously, I don't think she just woke up and had the idea.
Right.
There's clearly an underlying message that was fed to her. Are you still seeing that? And as someone who speaks Pilates and fitness and strength training and wellness into the lives of, over 1 million women just on YouTube alone, what responsibility do you think you have to make sure that you're not her someday and that we don't continue to make hers?
Yep. I think I have a huge responsibility as a platform, and I take that very seriously. And I do know I mess up sometimes. And I hope I have good voices in my life, yours included, who will tell me.
Listen,
like,
I get called out, so.
Right, yep. And I also feel like we do need dialogue, and we have lost it. And yet we're still so desperate to have community that we are only looking for people who will hype up that opinion.
Right,
Like,
or echo chambers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's completely fine, especially in this day and age. If you need to be around people who believe like you, I 100% get that. But there's this extra level I see, whereas, oh, you're really mad? I'm really mad too. And one thing that just came out, I don't know if you saw this, so it was some healthcare workers in a women's health clinic, and they posted.
I heard about this, y'all. I don't know if you saw this. It was not good. Here, you tell people.
And so it was a women's health clinic. So they were doing pap smears and OBGYN exams. And as happens to all of us, I mean, you guys, I pooped when I gave birth. This happens.
Every woman,
like, we
you don't even have to be of a certain year. Not even leaking fluids. Hello. No. When you're doing the pap smear, God willing, they are lubing that thing up sufficiently. Okay. Because if so, it may not even be your fluids. There's a lot going on down there.
Things happen, right? Like, we know things come out. So
totally normal.
A woman left the exam and there was a little of something on the paper.
Sure.
And I would say 6 workers gathered around, you know, pointing, laughing, took a picture, didn't say the person's name, but they didn't need to.
God.
Right. And they posted it. And that broke me so much because, again, that should be the safest of safe spaces.
Oh, I mean, beyond.
Right. But I can see how one of them said, oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, we could do a really funny TikTok video. Oh, people would love that. And so they hyped each other up in that way. I would say surround yourself with voices who, again, will lift you up and also speak truth to you of that was not the best thing to get hyped up about.
I mean, it's not, I mean, it's against medical, behavior to begin with, the medical protocol.
Right.
And I think that's a great example of also, we all know better. And I think that that's one of the things that I'm seeing, especially in fitness, right? If someone is coming in and I don't know if it's a gym culture thing, I got to say, I'm not a super gym. This is why I'm glad you're here, because I'm not in the gym 24/7, but gym culture will make fun of or get videos of someone who is overweight trying to work out. I always think, because I used to be 100 pounds heavier, along that journey, you might have saw me looking what your version of overweight was when I was already 50 pounds down. I'd done something you probably couldn't ever do if you were someone who was naturally inclined towards fitness. So the idea that you'd be shaming someone on that journey is bananas. And the gym should be one of the safest places, because if someone is even there, they've overcome so much to get there, just like, a doctor's office. And so, like you're saying, with social media kind of being part of this sort of change in ethos and culture, it feels like there is this sort of revealing of the privacy of these moments, and this sort of crossing the boundary. It used to be men. I shouldn't say it used to be men. Let me correct that. We've all been warned about men as women, where we're like, oh, watch out for the guy taking a picture of your butt at the gym. Or if you have a male doctor, be careful. I got to tell you, this Pilates energy stuff, it's been the ladies.
Yes.
It's been the ladies. It's been white women. And I hate to say it, you know what I mean? But at least that's what's coming across my algorithm. Can you help me understand what that is? Because I know it's not a monolith. It's not every white woman. I'm not at all. It's just 52%. Okay. So can you walk me through what is going on here?
Well, and I think, with Allie, right? 14. So I have a 12-year-old.
Yep.
I can see it.
Already,
right?
Already.
Yes.
She's like, someone told me that I'm a skinny queen. Or she went to tennis and they were like, oh, your shoulders, girl, you are buff. And she's like, I like that I'm scary, but also, why are you talking about my body?
Yep. And Fiona the same, and she's on a volleyball team. Beautiful, amazing girl. I love this age so much. By the way. I love the braces.
Sweet.
I mean, these girls are just learning
They're
about
blooming.
their bodies. Yes. And of course they're awkward. Do any of us want to go back to that
Not
age?
at all.
No. And I mean, you can see when a girl comes in to that court, wherever, middle school, you walk down the halls, you know who's been told a message of empowerment and you know who has not. And somehow those messages continue to perpetuate and perpetuate and perpetuate, and they keep going. And so I think anywhere along the line, if a woman has been told that or it's been exampled to her, she will keep doing it in whatever environment she is in. And so it is up to all of us to look at our internal biases. Obviously, we talk about that. You need to do that. But a lot of people don't have that self-awareness.
They don't.
So I think the best thing you can probably do is encourage someone in your life. If you see someone in the gym, just tell them they're doing a great job. If you see someone confused about a piece of equipment, hey, can I help you? This was so hard for me.
Yes.
Or, hey, you know what? Jessica has these beginner videos at home. I know it's hard to get to the gym or it can feel awkward. You can do this in your pajamas in 10 minutes in the morning. And I'm telling you, 10 minutes at a time can empower you to maybe take that first step in the gym. And I'll also say no one should make you feel that way. No instructor, nobody should ever make you feel like you are not good enough to be there. Unfortunately, the reality is some will. So just promise me you won't give up. Find another instructor. There are good ones out there. Find someone who wants to take you to their favorite class. Trust a good friend. Just don't stop. And it's too bad we have to do so much work to find that for ourselves, but it's so worth it when you do. And then you'll have that effect on someone else in your life or the daughters in your life or the
people just seeing
girls.
it. Yeah. This is one thing I love about you is with all of your workouts, all of your video, all your training, you're like, girl, if you're in your pajamas, who said you need Pilates clothes? Yeah. You're like, if you can't have a shake, it's fine. Just like try to eat an apple, get some fiber. You know what I mean? Like, you are so real about it. And there's so much humility in the work you do because you also show us your mess. You've shown us your health journeys. You've shown us, what it was like for you to, get pregnant, how you're still kind of battling that in recovery. And I'm so grateful to you for putting a real face on it. And also, for putting a white face on it, that is not what I think we're used to seeing, because it always gives me at least the hope if I walk into a Pilates studio that maybe I'm getting like a Jessica and not a Karen. You know what I mean? So I'm very grateful for that. And I also, what you just said here about like kind of hyping people up. For those of you who don't know, in the Black community, especially amongst Black women, that is a part of our culture and ethos. Yeah. We will straight up holler out of a window, come on, yellow. Yes, hair. I see you, sis. Like it is a unspoken support system where if we see another Black woman doing it, like we will tell them like, you look great today. And I guess first I'll ask, I don't think that exists in the white community.
No. No, I would say no.
She said no, girl.
And yes, there are some people out there, absolutely.
Of course,
but I will say it takes, they will go through an entire internal dialogue, right?
Girl.
Should I say this? Am I embarrassed? Should I not? I don't know. I want to tell her she's awesome, but I'm not sure if I should.
Right.
We need more of it.
Yeah. And I just am like, when we talk about the sort of intersectionality of like women collectively, like what if we all just got together to advance our common women goals? And then if we want to fight on the other side, we can, but like, let's kind of, we've got some patriarchal things that we got to break down before we can move forward, and I'm like, I wish y'all could get along better within your community because I think that there'd be less of that. Well, one thing we're unifying around is creating oppressive systems for the marginalized, and I'm just so grateful for your voice in that space, and being honest, like we're not crazy. When we walk into Pilates and people are doing work, like I've gone to Pilates and tried to use the reformer and very early on. And there were just simple things like my shape of my body. I could see they didn't know how to navigate around someone whose butt doesn't fit the rocky, well, I don't know what it's called, the seat, you know what I mean? My butt is bigger than the seat. Like that thing was disappearing under me. And I was explaining how uncomfortable it was for me. And they were like, well, your form is bad.
Yes.
Now, I mean, things like that languaging, I don't think I'm incorrect, but it felt bad. Yeah. Was that true? Is it just that my form was bad or is just my body's different?
It's your body.
Do they make big butt Pilates seats?
They have. So my husband's 6'6".
Yes.
Which is why I know they do make extended carriages.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
Also, I will say.
Extended carriages. Okay, for the girls.
Yes. Yep. And also, I have to throw this out too. I should have said it earlier. Joseph Pilates, one of the very first people he trained to become a Pilates instructor, Kathy Grant, was a Black woman.
Oh.
Yep. Kathy Grant. Shout out to this amazing woman, Kathy Grant. And so it is in the legacy, and yet.
It's been,
right?
There's erasure, there's appropriation, and then it's been utilized, to further oppress. And it's just a pattern that, we see in a lot of places. And I think when we have these conversations, one, it's just important to hear it, even if it makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But the other opportunity we have is, okay, so let's acknowledge it, and then let's create a safe space for everyone.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't take away from all the cool things that Pilates is. I love that the outfits are cute. Those little toe socks with the grippies, here for them.
Yes.
Okay, wear them outside of Pilates. I love them.
Yes.
But let's not try to make it a place that, we're taking ownership over that isn't, for others.
Right. And for teachers, open your mind to the nuance. I think that is ultimately what is missed in health and wellness and fitness, is that we all are different. Anatomically, sometimes we are different.
Yes.
And also our lived experiences. You don't know what someone has been through unless you ask. So accept that there is nuance to it, that we don't all fit a mold, and then create a program for that person's needs.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So speaking to people who also have platforms, because I'm asking this of everyone who sits in my chair has a microphone. They get to speak into millions of people, and we're learning more and more that having that microphone can sway elections. It can incite riots, but it can also create massive change, protest movements. It's powerful more than it ever has been. What responsibility do you think you have, and how are you leveraging your platform? Because you don't just talk about fitness. You try to make it very clear where you stand so that people at least know if they belong, right? So tell us a little bit about that. Have you been struggling with that? How does that feel?
I think anytime, if someone tells you they have a platform and that they don't struggle at all, they're probably not telling the full truth.
They're lying. It's hard.
Because it's uncomfortable.
Even this conversation, I'm not going to lie, even this conversation is uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I know someone's going to be like, not she said white, not she said oppression, not she said, like, just trigger words,
Yes.
So yeah, it's tough.
Absolutely. And so it does come with some struggle, but also I can't not say some of the things I say. So I would say in some ways it's a struggle, only in that, do I post my family? Do I not? When do I want to post? I want to stay in bed all day.
Yes.
Like, that's the struggle piece. I feel like I would be doing myself and everyone else a disservice if I didn't say things that I wanted my daughter to eventually hear, which is, we have not done the right things in the past necessarily, the collective we. And so what can we do differently? And sometimes things feel really big. Like, I don't know the big steps to take, but I know I can tell one woman today, you are not broken. I am sorry that you have been told this in the past. I'm sorry for what you've experienced. Tell me your story. I want to hear it. Like, just tell me what you've been through, and let me give you 10 minutes to feel better in your body today. And so that's what I try to think of. I might not be able to talk to everyone, but if I can talk to one person, if I can make the path a little better for our daughters, that is all I can hope for.
That's the point. It's a big goal. It's a big dream, but you're doing it. I watch you and you're doing it, and you're reaching out to us in more ways. So you have a community, which is nice, that people are seeking a safe space. You have a community online with, everything from recipes to, and you use inclusive language, and you're aware of modifications, and it's just freeing and humbling. And, when I was going through postpartum, that was a huge space for me. You actually helped me with my hip, that was really struggling. I was like, I'm falling apart. Like, you were like, oh yeah, your bones are loosey-goosey. Yeah. I was like, no, not they're slippery. So you helped me figure out my joints and all that. And so I was appreciative for that. So you have a community where people can find you. I know that you're also, and I'm just going to tease it here because it's not official. I know that you're working on a book, I heard. So can you tell me just high level, because it's still in the works, so I know things change, but tell me high level, what are you trying to do? Because it's kind of a challenge to the Pilates community. It's a challenge to the wellness community, saying like, hey, here's another way that it's been done and how it can be done. Tell us more about that. I
ultimately want women, again, to feel supported wherever they are in life. YouTube has been an amazing way to do it. That has surprised me. I mean, again, being my age, I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, oh my gosh, I can give women 10-minute workouts from around the world. Great. Having a community has been great online with Unlimited, where people can come and support each other and create a positive place. And I realized I really like to talk. And I have a lot to say.
Yes, you do.
So that I had a podcast because the format's a little longer. And then I realized, you know what? If I can leave a book behind, that encompasses all of this. That again, women can take to the doctor's office with them. Hey, Jessica said I need to ask for these tests. Or, oh my gosh, I've missed this whole step of feeling embodied and feeling like a partner if we can put it all together. So that's ultimately what it will be, is a guidebook that you can just know, hey, I have a friend here who knows what it's like. She's been through the health challenges. She's had the hundreds of tests. And also, she's telling me that I'm okay.
Yes.
She's telling me I'm going to be okay.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. You know that I am like, when this book comes out, you have to come back. We have to break it down.
Please.
We have to go through it. Like, it is a must. But y'all, if you're not following Jessica everywhere, do that now. This is, as we're sort of building out our collective, I think, in this world of who are the trusted voices, who are the people we know are seeking to create a world that does not carry more harm, to our bodies, to our minds, to our families, to our kids, to our future. Jessica is someone that I categorically can stand behind and say, add her to your list. So before we go, I do want to know if there was one thing that you think everyone else could do, because we already told them what we think that, would change their life, right? There was one thing you think that they could take and put out into the world based on your lived experiences, what you've seen, what you know. What would that be? Tell us more.
Look people in the eye. Touch them when you can. I mean, a hand on the shoulder, a hug if it's appropriate. It is amazing. I feel like we need connection right now. And again, don't put yourself in harm's way. Do not cross your boundaries. You do not need to do that. But when your kid walks into the room, look them in the eye and tell them how excited you are that they're there. When you see another mom in the parking lot struggling, just say, can I help you with anything? I feel like we have lost a little bit of one-on-one connection. And that is right now where I find the most value in my days. Like seeing you today, stepping off the plane and seeing you today filled my cup. Even during a hard conversation, it made it so much easier because I am with a trusted person one-on-one.
Yes. Oh, I think in these times, everything you said is so true, that it's a lot easier to connect, believe, trust, and grow if we're allowed to see the person, and that is valuable. Thank you so much. Not just for that, but for all the truth bombs that you shared here, for being so direct and so candid and so honest, and just for telling us so much more about the unseen, in the fitness world, and just empowering us to love ourselves a little bit more. So thank you. And all the things in the show notes below. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I adore you.
I love you.
Love you.